I don't have a lot to tell you. Why don't you just ask your questions? Go.
Hey, what's going on with this offense? 13 points in 2 games.
Yeah, it's really surprising now that we're back a couple weeks with Russ back in there, and that we had such a hard time scoring, and moving the football. We just there's things that are, the running game was pretty efficient, and but it came down. We were 1 for 5 in the first half. Yeah, the hard part of it is it's kind of this. It's what it's been like, and it hasn't gotten better, and we have to improve. We got to find our ways.
You've talked about the third down issues for pretty much the entire season, the inability to have the possession of the football. How much of that at this point falls on the coaching staff for not being able to get?
We got to do better. We got to coach better, man. We got to coach them better, and they got to find their ways. Russ got to find his way. We got to catch the ball when we get our chances. I mean, it's everything. But it starts with me.
Decisions and throw. What's Russell not doing that he was before the injury?
I don't have an answer for that. I don't know. We're not getting our chances at making the plays and the opportunities. No, you saw us. We were trying to run the football to give us some rhythm to play off of it, but you still got to convert. You still got to convert on third down. We didn't get it done.
What happened to Rashad after that first carry in the first half?
Something in his hammy. One run and he felt it, and so we spent the rest of the first half basically trying to keep him warm to see if he pulled his hamstring or if he just felt something, and he kind of felt okay and got close to getting back out there, but it wasn't quite right. So I can't tell you what I don't know about the injury. I just know what he said and what he felt, and so we had to look after him.
What about Trey?
I really would love to have seen him play. I mean, we were really excited to see him play today and get a bunch of turns.
What about Trey Brown? What happened to him?
Trey has a patella tendon injury, and those are pretty tough.
Even in seeing Russell, it seems like he's not seeing the field at times. When you look at your red zone possessions, particularly the second field goal, Everett's wide open at the goal line. He throws it to the back of the end zone. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I don't know about the specific read of the play. You're curious about it. Okay, we've been phenomenal in the red zone. Our numbers are great, but unfortunately, the first couple times down there we didn't get in, and usually it's a strength. We think we're scoring every time we get down there.
Is the belief that Brown's patellar tendon injury is?
I'm sorry, I can't understand.
Oh, sorry. Is the belief that Brown's injury is season-ending?
There's no reason for me to say that right now. I don't know that.
At what point did you know McCoy was going to start for them, and what was the plan?
I kind of didn't know till we saw the inactives, and that's when we knew. There was, speculation and conversation, all that kind of stuff. He had a heck of a game. He ran the ball a little bit and threw a lot of balls, and made a lot of completions. He had a good game.
Did you think Sydney had caught that, or what? That whole?
I don't think there's, in my mind, no doubt. I don't know how in the world, the way that happened, the timing of that, you could ever. Maybe you guys saw it better than I did. I didn't see the replays other than when I saw it on the big board. But he catches the ball, turns over. He can't even believe that they took that catch away. I caught the football, and so I think the ball probably touched the ground. I think that, again, you guys would know better than me, but that's a 60-plus yard swing in that moment right there. It was a great play, and I think you had to try really hard to want to turn that over because it was called on the field. You have to have whatever it's called, indisputable or whatever.
It seemed they put a lot of stress on your linebackers in particular today. What did you see out of Bobby and Jordan?
I can't understand.
It seemed like they put a lot of stress on your linebackers in particular today with the underneath stuff and getting wide and the screens again as usual. What did you see?
Yeah, the screen game, we had a bad one early, but then we played a bunch of them much better. And the perimeter stuff didn't show up as much as they've been doing it. And so it was just there was just a lot of plays, and I thought Cole did a really good job to stay alive and find guys, threw the ball pretty well, and they caught a ton of them. And it was an inside game. Corners weren't that involved, for the most part.
In the last 2 games, Pete, have you seen Wilson's accuracy notably diminished and his timing off?
That 2 weeks ago, in 2 weeks ago, in those conditions, I thought that was tough. I thought it wasn't quite. I didn't see that today as much. I got to go back. There was a couple balls I think he threw away for one reason or another, and I had a couple balls. Guy got in front of a couple. on him. But I don't know that yet, Art. I got to look at the film.
With so many things wrong with the offense, can it even realistically be fixed at this point in LSU?
I'm really sorry, Michael. I can't understand you.
You said there's so many things wrong with the offense, execution, calls, whatever. Can it even be fixed at this point?
Yeah, it has to be able to be fixed. Yeah, we got a long time. We got a couple months left. I don't know why it became a mystery to us to score points. I mean, that's not even never been the issue, and we've always been able to move the ball and score and stuff. So I don't know why this time frame. It started when Russ got banged up, and it hasn't. We just haven't got productive, like we need to be, and we got to get back on track. Maybe it's going to be a couple weeks for taking a month off for Russ to be at his best to help us in where he can. But we got to do stuff around him as well. It isn't a one-guy show. As much as you might want to make it that, it goes back to us, the coaches, and Shane and I and Andy. We have to do a better job and get it done. It seems like there's opportunities for us, and so we need to take advantage of them.
Russ has been so good in clutch situations throughout his career. Right now, he's 35% completion percentage on third down for your offense. It just seems like that's been such a hard hill for you guys to get over. Why do you feel like he's struggled, your offense has struggled as much in those situations as they have this year?
It's been the same quite throughout the season. And when we were chunking plays and we were going first down, second downs, and having fast drives and moving the ball quickly, we weren't aware of the issue. But even then, when we did have our third down opportunities, remember we were erratic, with our ability to move the football, and it's just been amplified now when we're not hitting the bigger plays, and so. But we're working on it. We're working really hard at our stuff. We're practicing well. We've cut things down to make sure that we have chances to get a lot of good the repetitions that we need to count on stuff in the game, and we just got to do better. We got to coach better. We got to play better.
Pete, time of possession becomes an issue when your defense is on the field as much as it was today. How much do you think that was a factor there at the end when you got a total on possession?
I don't want to go there. I don't want to say because we played a lot of plays we couldn't play well at the end. I'm not saying that. We got to get off the field again. We got to win on those third downs. There's a couple in there that were big wins for them, and it's so different. It's so different. That's why I challenged the spot on the sneak. Just because it's such a big play. I know that the chances of them overturning that one, wasn't very good. But I took a shot at it because they're so significant. And they got 40 minutes, we got 20 minutes, and it really comes down to them being able to convert and us not. And so I'm sorry, it's not a different story. It's been the same story in and out of this whole season, and we've got to see if we can turn this thing. I'm really done.
What was your...
So I know that you probably have some more questions. I don't know if I have any more answers for you, but I'll try my best. I'll try. I'm looking and seeing that, we don't turn the ball over. We got 2 penalties in the game. What the heck, man? It keeps reminding me that there's things that we're doing well enough to be a winning football team. The turnover thing just continues to be there, and it's just really frustrating that we can't get this thing turned. So anyway, I'm sorry for not being aware of that there was more time. I usually defer to Dave, and I didn't do that right there. What do you got?
How close was DJ Reed to playing? I mean, is that a concern, especially if Trey can't play?
He came down in practice, I think it was Thursday, after going for a ball, and he just jolted his knee a little bit, and he's got a little bit of a strain that just couldn't clear up, in a couple days' time. So he tried, he tried to get through it, and got MRI and all that stuff. There's little findings in there, but it was just jammed enough that he couldn't get going, and, he's got to play out on the edge, and you got to be right, so. Jamal had a similar situation, same day of practice, on Thursday, and he was able to make it through. He was not 100%, but he did a great job of just getting through and playing the game.
Pete, have you had a time in your Seattle tenure where the way forward seems unclear like it is now?
I was thinking, since I walked out of here, I had a couple extra minutes that I normally don't have. I go all the way back to the Jets, on my one season at the Jets. This is the last time we were in a situation like this as a head coach. We were never this far behind it in New England, and I think we lost 5 games in a row at one time with the Jets at the end of the season, and I can't remember anything about what happened, any of those press conferences or the meetings. I'm just not any good at this. I'm not prepared for this. This is not this. I'm struggling to do a good job of coaching when you're getting your butt kicked in week in and week out. It's new territory. So, and I'm competing in every way I can think of, but I'm just unfamiliar with it. And so if I leave early or if I make a mistake, that's I'm not on my best game right here. So it's been 20 years, since I remember anything, we're past that. So, and I'm not making any excuses. And I don't want to get good at this. That's the other thing. I don't want to get any good at this. But what else?
In what particular ways do you feel like it's challenging you? The situation you're in, it sounds like it's new.
Yeah, it's we've always had a lot of positive stuff to build on and go, and I haven't been this far behind the record right now, I mean, we can still turn this thing and win a bunch of games at the end and be fine. We all feel like that's what's going to happen. We're going out every single day we go to work, every single day we get in the locker room, and we're coming out at halftime all the way down to we need 2 scores, and we go right down the field and get our score. Now we got to go stop them. I mean, all the way to that we're thinking we're winning a football game. We didn't think anything different than that. That's the way we operate. But there's 7 losses on this schedule right now, and that's a lot of games.
Jamal was just talking about how confident he is that this will turn around. This team can do that.
I know that's how I feel too. I'm just disappointed that I don't have any new answers for you, in similar situations. So that's a real challenge for the staff. We have to find our ways to get our guys to execute better, so that we're not in the same situations. I mean, it's like the same story, and that can drive you a little bit batty.
Pete, your frustration is understandable. Why did you feel the need to come back in?
Because we've had a relationship. I have a relationship with the media that I think I respect the heck out of everything you guys do, and I know you got stories to write. And I think if I shortchange you on the stories, and that you've got a job too, and I've felt that way my whole life in coaching, so I did it out of respect to you guys, and because I know you got a job to do, and I don't need to make it hard on you. So I'm available because it makes sense to me why I should be here right now.
Is this as frustrated as you've been here?
Yes, absolutely. It's not even close. Not even close.
And what gives you hope that this can still turn around right now?
There's so many. I have so many reasons. It's the guys that we're coaching. It's the way we operate. It's the attitude that they bring on a regular basis. It's the coaches that have the work ethic to keep pushing and attacking the issues and I mean everything about it. Everything about it. Because I don't feel any different. I feel like we're gonna win next week, and we're gonna go play a great game on the East Coast, and come on back here and get ready for the next one. And I don't have any other thought in my mind. I'm just disappointed that I got to keep coming back in here and talk about the same stuff, and don't feel like I have good answers for you, because our answers so far have not turned it. And so that's why I said I thought I was really clear about it. It starts with me. I've got to get this done, and I got to help my guys get it done.
Does any of this question where you think you can take this team from here?
No. It doesn't, except for just to come back in and again. I mean, if it's again the same story next week, I'll just be a little bit more frustrated and apt to do something out of character, and miss a clarity moment and all that.
Everybody else make it out okay besides Rashawn and Trey?
Jordan might have a little bit of a hip thing that's bothering him. B-Shell's shoulder was really sore during the game. I think that was it. Was there another one? Yeah.
When you say that part of the frustration is that you're saying the same thing over and over each week, and does that mean that you're trying the same things each week, or does it mean that you've changed up?
No. We're competing, man. I mean, you haven't been with us all this time, but we've been talking about third downs for a long time. And third downs tell so much of the story of the game, and it happens to particularly pertain to us. And so the defense really turned around the third down things for, I don't know, 5 or 6 weeks. We're 5th or 6th in the NFL in third downs until these last 2 weeks. So, that totally improved. And offensively, we just haven't quite got it going yet. We haven't been successful. And remember that there's 3.5 weeks in here when Russ was not playing for us. He's been playing for 10 years for us, and then he came back in Green Bay, and that game happened, and this game happened. So we're not quite back to getting the turnaround done, accomplished. But he's the best he's been right now. He made it through again. He feels okay, and so we should only count on all of us getting better. He's in the middle of it all. We've got to help him. He can't block the guy coming off the edge. We missed that. We missed a pickup, and bam, he gets it right off the bat. He can't do that. He can't get the ball out on that one. There's no chance. And so. There's plenty of reasons. We just got to make sure that we clean it all up and get as sharp as we can and all that. So.
How do you approach Russ after a tough
I'm
performance?
sorry.
How do you approach Russ after a tough performance like this? What do you envision the conversation?
We go right to the truth. We get to the truth, and we don't know all that right now. It's too emotional, too impassioned, and all that. We got to get to it, and I haven't had a chance to give him. We have a little sit down always before we get out of here. We haven't done that yet, but. We go right to the truth of it. So you have to talk your way to the truth and figure out what happened and be really and hold each other accountable. Hold us all accountable for what we can do better and all of that. Try to make sense of it. I mean, this is nothing different. This is what you do in ball coaching. I've been doing this for forever, but I just want to see these results flip.
Typical, you guys huddle after a game, win or lose, every week for you and Russ.
Right. Yes.
Well, was the plan to really take away the deep? I mean, I know it always is to some degree, but in this game to force them into underneath throws on offense?
Yeah. Basically, this has been it's been an explosive offense with the big perimeter plays and all kinds of stuff that they've done. That wasn't yeah, that was part of it. We were preparing for Kyler to be playing as well. Thought he would come back, and but we were aware of Colt and what he could do too, and had chances. Really, like I said, a really good opportunity to see him in a game when they trounced the Niners, and then they get in all kinds of trouble the next week, against the Panthers. So we weren't sure what it would be like with him, when he came out, but we didn't know what he would do and all that. And so this offense, you need to make sure that they're not being explosive. And I don't know what the explosives came out today, but it seemed like there was some.
I don't know if I call it frustration, but it's part of the mystery here that guys are practicing well, and then in the game, the execution is not what it
Yes,
should
that's an issue. That is an issue because we're not coming out of the weeks thinking we're not going to do well. We're coming out of the weeks feeling like everything, we've worked our way through it. We got the repetitions that we needed. We've had the meetings and the walkthroughs and all of the stuff that it takes to get right. Like, we've been doing this for a long time, and that's how you do it. That's how you get through it. And then you count on the coaching and the plan and the players' repetitions to allow you to believe that you're going to get it done. So we keep coming in here, and we're shocked again that we didn't get it done, because we think we should be better than that, and we should be.
Last question, Mark.
Steve, have you had to ask Russell to do things in the game that he's not quite ready to do yet?
No, really, we really haven't. The only thing that we could be doing more is putting him under center more. That's all. That's the only other thing that we could do more. We didn't feel like it was an issue. And we're just trying to keep that spank of the ball coming up, not to be a factor, in the game any more than we have to, as he's still recovering, this is week 6 of broken bones. So that's all. But none of us feel like that's a factor. We may have to revisit it again and get us back to a more normal cadence of how we do that, and where we mix the gun stuff and the under center stuff.